the night that shattered an empire's illusion. January 30th, 1968, the Lunar New Year, Tet, a sacred holiday of peace in Vietnam. At 2:45 a.m., mortars fell on Tan Son Nhat Air Base in Saigon. Within hours, over 80,000 North Vietnamese and Viet Cong troops struck more than 100 towns, cities, and military bases across South Vietnam. 36 of 44 provincial capitals were hit. 5 major cities came under fire. Even the U.S. Embassy in Saigon, a symbol of American control, was breached. It was the largest coordinated assault since World War II, and it shattered the illusion that the war was under control. But before that night of fire came months of silence, secrets, and deception. Just months before chaos, America believed victory was near. Late 1967, General Westmoreland told Washington that the end was in sight. 500,000 U.S. troops stood in Vietnam. Commanders believed the enemy could no longer mount a major attack. But deep in the jungles, the North Vietnamese Army and Viet Cong were planning something that would turn the war upside down. Under the code name General Offensive and Uprising, they divided the South into 6 fronts. Weapons moved in coffins and vegetable carts. Cadres disguised as civilians waited for coded messages, hidden in radio songs and holiday greetings. The goal, strike everywhere at once, to destroy and ignite rebellion from within. When the new year arrived, Vietnam would erupt in fire. It was supposed to be a night of peace. It became a night of fire. As midnight of Tet arrived, fireworks mixed with the sound of gunfire. In Saigon, commandos stormed the U.S. Embassy compound, fighting room to room with Marine guards. 18 hours later, the attack was repelled, but the image of Americans under siege spread worldwide. In Hue, the imperial capital, thousands of North Vietnamese troops seized the city. For 25 days, fierce battles turned streets into ruins. By the end, over 10,000 civilians were dead or missing. Across the country, 100 urban and military targets were attacked simultaneously. Most were contained within days, but the psychological shock would last for years. In Washington, the aftershock was only beginning. The North lost the battle, but won the world's attention. Militarily, the offensive was a disaster for the North. Over 40,000 soldiers were killed, thousands captured. Their dream of a nationwide uprising never came. Yet the shock wave reached Washington faster than any bullet. Television brought the war into American living rooms. For the first time, viewers saw firefights inside secure cities. At CBS, anchorman Walter Cronkite, the voice of trust, declared, "It is increasingly clear to this reporter that the only rational way out will be to negotiate." Those words carried more weight than 1,000 briefings. And in the White House, the war was about to claim another casualty. The bullets had stopped, but the war had just entered the White House. By March 1968, President Lyndon B. Johnson faced collapsing support. Protests filled American streets. Polls showed most citizens no longer believed victory possible. On March 31st, Johnson announced, "I shall not seek and I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term." The Tet Offensive had changed everything, without winning anything on the battlefield. In numbers, the North lost far more troops, but in perception, they had struck the decisive blow. In history, Tet remains a paradox, a tactical defeat, a strategic victory. It proved that no firepower could win a war fought for hearts and minds. After Tet came Vietnamization, withdrawal, and the fall of Saigon. Tet was not the end, but the moment the war turned inside out. Tet Offensive, the night Vietnam changed America.